se va creando.
She goes over this time.
La presión crece.
Straight into the back. What is going on?
El desafío final es ahora. El momento del ataque ha llegado. Una última chance para la gloria del campeonato. El Energy X Prix está aquí.
Hello and welcome to the title decider, the season 2 finale, the Uruguay Natural Energy X Prix. This weekend, championship favourites and season 1 winners Rosberg X Racing will try and make it 2 championships in a row, but the chasing pack hasn't given up yet. I'm Andrew Coley.
And I'm Jenny Gow, and we'll bring you all the action from Punta Del Este, and a track that's proving looks can be deceiving. It's caught out many a top-class driver, and with that in mind, let's take you back to yesterday's qualifying, because with anything but simple.
Yeah, this 3-kilometre grass and dirt track looks pretty innocuous,
but it left plenty of teams with big repair jobs on their hands.
First up, JVXE's incident, Heather Hosas driving. Fraser McConnell due to take over, but he wouldn't get his run because Hosas ended up on her side. She was perfectly okay. That was the end of their participation in Q1. Next, this brilliant save from Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski for RXR. Championship leaders and favourites, but she wouldn't get away with it the second time. Another roll. Championship contenders, leaders, favourites, upside down and out of the first session. Finally, X44 also in the championship hunt. A massive shunt for Cristina Gutierrez, end over end on a very quick section of the track. Veloce, new driver lineup, Kevin Hansen with Molly Taylor, last year's female champion alongside Christopherson. A brilliant run by them. They were at the top of the timesheets and looked like they might win their first ever qualifying session. Hansen very pleased with a big push on lap 2, but they hadn't accounted for Laia Sanz and Carlos Sainz for Acciona Sainz. Sainz brought the car home after a big push in a favourable position, and Carlos Sainz, El Matador, pushed even harder on lap 2 to take a couple of seconds out of Veloce and go top in Q1. On to Q2 and the race portion of the event. The first race, fairly uneventful. Compact spinning for Excite Energy Racing up at the first corner after the bumps. Inside line, Andretti United looked like they weren't going to hold on, but Carlos Sainz ran wide. Timmy Hansen took the lead. He brought the car in for Katie Munnings, parked just outside his switch zone area. They were given a 5-second penalty for that, but Munnings came home some 7.5 seconds clear to take the win. Race 2 and turn 1 was eventful. McConnell coming from the back of the grid, got into the back of Christopherson in that corner. Johan looking unperturbed. He took the lead. Nasser Al-Attiyah close in behind. Tight racing, Kevin Hansen making a pass on McConnell for Veloce later on, but this was the biggest moment of drama. Al-Attiyah caught a bad bump, stayed in the throttle low and turned championship leader Christopherson around. Rear end of the RXR hanging off the car, absolute carnage in the dust. Veloce in the lead. Once it came to the driver changes though, Clara Anderson on board, the hook coming off the front of the car didn't slow her down. She made a brilliant pass on Molly Taylor to take the lead for Abt Cupra. She would hold on to that to the checkered flag, but 30-second penalty for that contact with RXR drops them down the order. So here then are the standings at the end of qualifying. A first ever top qualifier spot for Veloce Racing with their new driver pairing, but it's all about our championship protagonists. Chip Ganassi Racing are in semi-final 1, Acciona Sainz are in semi-final 2, but the big news is that X44 and RXR are both in the crazy race.
Sets us up pretty well, doesn't it? What a day it was. Brilliant qualifying action. And you can see there, Rosberg X Racing favourites to win, 83 points, 66 to X44 Vida Carbon Racing, but they currently have the Traction Challenge, an additional 5 points. Acciona Sainz still in the mix with 60 points and 55 for Chip Ganassi Racing. Those are your 4 teams who could end today as title winners.
Yeah, we're going to try and keep this simple for you. Basically, RXR are the only team that can still win if they don't make the finals. So that would then depend on other people's results. But the other 3 teams in this championship fight must make the final if they want to keep their championship hopes alive. So we've got teams in both the semi-finals, 2 teams in the crazy race. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic day's racing.
So this is the course. It's 3 kilometres long, and as we know, it can bite and bite hard. So I think this is going to be risk versus reward, but for some people, they won't have the comfort or luxury of that, will they, Andrew?
I think that's the thing, Jenny, is, yesterday we saw big issues, big mistakes in Q1, and teams continuing to take risks even afterwards in 2 shunts. Then we saw a third one, and everybody wound it in just a little bit. But they're not going to be able to do that today, particularly not when you think only one team's going to go through from the crazy race, and our top 2 championship rivals are in that one. I can't wait for that. But yeah, you're going to have to risk it. All of these championship protagonists have to make the final. They have to risk it today.
And interestingly, the Continental Traction Challenge, which is awarding those 5 extra points, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to take that away from X44 today. But they will try, and there's sneaky tactics you can do. We saw Loeb yesterday holding back and then going for it.
Yeah, and in a car he'd never driven before. They switched across to the championship car, for which actually today they have to take a 5-second stop-go penalty in the switch zone for that car switch. Yeah, going to be fascinating.
Now, in case you just happen to be new to the championship, where have you been all this time? But my word, you picked a good day to join us, because Extreme E was brilliant yesterday, and I think it's going to be great today. Have a look at how it all works.
Extreme E is a fully electric off-road championship racing on the most challenging terrains across the globe. 10 world-class teams, each fielding 1 male and 1 female driver in gender-equal lineups. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV, with a driver changeover at the switch halfway through. Each driver gets an Innova hyperdrive boost in every session, giving them an increase in power to provide thrilling overtakes. There are also bonus points available for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge section of the course over the weekend. Day 1 is qualifying, with a round of time trials followed by a round of head-to-head races. This decides how teams line up for Day 2's racing. Day 2 sees high-speed knockout racing with the goal of reaching the final. First up are the 2 semi-finals, where the top 2 teams progress from each. Then it's the last chance to progress in the winner-takes-all crazy race. Fans can vote for their favourite driver in grid play, with the winning team able to select their grid spot for the final first. The 5-car main event sees the teams battle it out to be crowned X3 winner and bag 25 championship points. The team with the most points after 5 races will be crowned Extreme E champions.
Well, our first semi-final is coming up very soon, and after an intense, incredible, insane day of racing yesterday, I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. We've got 2 semi-finals and the crazy race to bring you. For these guys in semi-final 1, here, number 99, Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing, it's very simple. They must make the final and hope the other results go their way to be in with a chance at clinching this title. Now, we have asked for a bit of a chat, but as you can see, they are fully engaged, race mode on. So we're going to head down and see who else we can have a quick chat to. That's Chip Ganassi here in semi-final 1, and we're heading out next door to go and see Veloce, the new pairing, of course, of Molly Taylor and Kevin Hansen, and Molly's just here. Oh, the nerves must be jangling ahead of this one, but look, new pairing, you're back for the first time in a matter of months, and you guys were top qualifiers yesterday. You must be delighted with that, but it must have given you some confidence too.
Yeah, great to come out of the box with a result like that. As you say, it's been a while, and everyone here has been, quite experienced in Extreme E, but first time all together. So yeah, that's really great for the team, and they've taken some faith in us, so it's really nice to repay with that. But yeah, today's a new day. We got to just keep our heads down and focus on the job.
That experience is clearly gelling so well together. What's the mindset? We're talking about the title permutations. For you guys, it's got to be all about winning this event, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of, in that way, it's nice. We don't have anything else to worry about. We're just going to go for it. And yeah, that's certainly the target today.
Thank you very much. Best of luck to you, Molly. Good to see you back as well. Back and in the absolute thick of it, at the forefront of this racing. As I say, yesterday was just incredible, wasn't it? We saw collisions, contact, rolls galore, and one of which is the man I'm about to speak to now, Nasser Al-Attiyah of Abt Cupra, alongside Clara Anderson. They won that race 2 of qualifying 2, but a 30-second penalty saw them down the field. Nasser, 30-second penalty for you yesterday. You're laughing. How do you reflect on that now, and what's the mindset for today?
It's okay, this is sometime happen, but we respect the decision from the steward, but I hope, for next time can be better thing, because otherwise we can lose also, But okay, we are in semi-final now, and we try to do our job. I am really happy for Clara, because she did amazing job, and the speed, to even in some section, it's better than me. This is it's really make me strong, and I hope to be exactly same level or better than me. Also no problem. Because for next year we can have a good challenge.
Yeah, that move from Clara on Molly was unbelievable, wasn't it? Well, Nasser, thank you very much. Best of luck to you today. Looking forward to seeing you out there. Well, after, as I say, one of the most intense days of racing in Extreme E history, we cannot wait for this one. Semi-final 1 is coming up very soon.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Energy X Prix. Semi-final 1 is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Time then for the semi-finals and the crazy race. This may well decide the championship. It could go all the way to the final, but it very much depends on the results of the teams who are trying to chase down RXR. The first of those is the number 99 Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing. They have to make it through to the final to try and keep their championship hopes alive. Remember, 2 cars go through from each of these semis, only 1 from the crazy race, so you'd like their odds. But Jenny, this is a tough lineup, and there aren't any easy lineups today.
No, there really aren't, are there? It's going to be great to watch exactly how this unfolds. So as you're looking at them, you'll have Chip Ganassi Racing on the left-hand side. This is as we look frontwards onto them. In the middle, you've got Veloce, the new pairing of Taylor and Hansen. And then to the right, it's the Abt Cupra team, Anderson and Al-Attiyah. Anderson having a little yawn, the stress clearly not getting to her too much. And this is going to be, it's going to have to be a relatively aggressive start from these ladies, isn't it?
We saw people yesterday using the Noah hyperdrive off the start line. I think you could try to save that if you wanted to steal those extra 5 championship points. You'd maybe need them later in the run to try and get the Continental Traction Challenge. But personally, Jenny, I think a good start and making it through to the final is more important. It is worth noting Chip Ganassi Racing do need both by the end of the event. They'd have to get through, win and take that Continental Traction Challenge. They're up against it, but it's not impossible, and as drivers they will be like, we're going to do this, we're going to go for it. They'll have a strategy, and we'll see that play out.
So just to remind you, each driver takes 2 laps around this course, 3 kilometres each. They then come in after their 2 laps, enter the switch zone where the second driver will be standing by, and the teams chose their lineups. This isn't all the ladies, then all the guys. It just happens to be that they're all kind of centred in on that. So that's the lineup.
It's interesting to me because you can't necessarily say who's going to, which of the starts is going to be more important, Jenny. You could argue this one's more important because you've got to make it through. But it will be Sarah Price for Chip Ganassi Racing, Molly Taylor for Veloce, and Clara Anderson for Abt Cupra.
I think those are birds.
They're excited. They're very excited. I'm excited.
Either that or my chair's got a very big squeak to it. Who knows?
That's RJ.
Double thumbs up. She's saying she is ready to go. Sarah Price in the car first. And this is the moment for that team. GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing. racing team must get through in the first two of these cars to stand any chance of winning this championship. You can see all three cars are waiting.
30 seconds.
Molly, of course, won last year, so she may well be super chilled about this. You know, there's not too much at stake. She knows she's got a deal for next year. Clara Anderson, if she doesn't get a deal for next year, will be absolutely crazy. But we're about to do this. We're about to decide some titles. Let's see who's still in the race by the end of this.
So, semi-final one. We have 10 seconds to go. All three drivers standing by at Cupra. Veloce, Chip Ganassi Racing. Green light, and we are off and racing in Uruguay for the Natural Energy X Prix. It looks like the cars are pretty level at the moment. Who's using their Renault hyperdrive? Doesn't look like anyone's put a burst in. So Veloce lead the way, but they've got a little bit front-ended there, avoiding it. Oh, we've got a flag down, so that's going to be a problem. We've got cars all over the place. It looks like they've taken the wrong turning. What has happened here? They've got to turn around. Sarah Price has got to get back into this. At the moment, she's trailing, has she?
Absolute nightmare for Price. She got a big slide on the brakes after that bump. She went in hot. She was behind Jenny, so I understand why she went in hot into turn one. She was hoping to go a little bit deep and run past. Took the flag out on the inside line. That's a definite penalty. And then, of course, has run really wide. So they're now up against it. They have to make it. They've got to get up at least one position, and they're 9 seconds behind.
Well, this is ultimate pressure then for Sarah Price. She's got to find a way back, as you say. Out in front, it's the App Cupra team. And Anderson doing a great job this weekend. You heard Alatia saying she's a great credit to that team. She wants to get that contract.
So just pointing out on our timing screens, incident between 99 and 5 under investigation. So did Veloce get involved? Was there contact between them, Jenny, that we didn't see? Because we were looking at turn one from the side, and it might be that something happened above. So it may be that Sarah Price was pushed into the flag, in which case it would be different. We'll have to look at the replays to try and figure that out. But at the minute, they'll just be desperate to get into the top two.
So the gap down for Sarah Price is 8 seconds. She needs to close that down. It drops to 7.5 seconds now. So she's clawing back some time as they go into the Continental Traction Challenge. That will not be on her mind at the minute. She just has to try and find some acceleration out of the Continental Traction Challenge.
I wonder, is she disappointed because she made a mistake and therefore all fired up, or is she livid because she got fired into in turn one and is therefore all fired up? But either way, she's really going for it. You know, she's closing down the gap. It's come down to 6 seconds, so a bit of extra pressure on Sarah Price. Look at this. He's actually bringing out an amazing performance. This is how you drive when you want to take the seconds out of everybody else. But is it too late?
Well, there we go. Car 99 under investigation for a drop flag at waypoint 3. The stewards have been busy this weekend, but now the gap comes down, and when you can see your rival just in front of you, it gives you that extra little twitch to your tail. You go even faster, you hunt them down even more. And I tell you what, Veloce are trying to hunt down as well. They want a piece of this action. Only 2 cars can go through. Chip Ganassi must make it through this to stand any chance of being champion winners.
So remember, Veloce Racing are under investigation for turn one with GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing, so there may have been contact. There's that drop flag from Sarah Price on the first lap. Was she pushed into it, or was it just that onboard that we saw over the jump where she went a bit sideways? She really is closing the gap down. It's under 5 seconds. Clara Anderson leading this race for App Cupra. You could see from Nasser Al-Attiyah's comments before the race, Jenny, he's really enjoying this new partnership.
Yeah, I think it's working for all of them, and you can see there that Molly Taylor is really trying to close the gap in ahead of her. She wants Anderson as well. This is a wonderful race, really clean racing, but look at the gap coming down now. Sarah Price late on the brakes, swinging the car around. They get towards turn 9, and just look at the mud flicking up, and Price is closing all the time. Molly Taylor's going to get a shock in a minute.
I'm really impressed by Price's pace in this one, Jenny. This is a super turn of pace from her. It really is. This is what she needs all the while, you know, but not without the problems that happened at turn 1. I'm interested to see what's fired her up, as I say, whether it was a mistake or whether it was contact. But she's coming back to this patch. She's coming for them big time.
She is
right on the tail of Taylor.
She is taking some risks out there as well. She is tending to take the fastest line, not the safest line. But look, she can see what's ahead of her. You're on board with her as you go for the long shot as well. So there it is, Anderson coming around. She's leading at the moment. Taylor just behind her. And then Price trying to get through.
Price is right with Taylor now. The timing screen is showing a 10-second penalty for that drop flag. So it looks like they are going to get that penalty. She's going to need to take 10 out. Goes up the inside of Molly Taylor. Where's Taylor now? Has Price made the pass or not? I think she might have got through. So Price has got the car up into pit. Oh! Contact from behind. Taylor comes back in. Clatters the back of the GMC
This is desperation now for Sarah Price. She's all over the back of Veloce. What happened? She's trying to get the overtake done as she goes towards the switch zone round turn 22. You can see where the finish line is, but she'll go into switch now. Wowzers. I'm not quite sure how the stewards are going to unpick that, but a 10-second penalty is up there for a drop flag at waypoint 3.
Go for it.
Right, okay, lots to pick apart from that. I have to say, Price's pace there was absolutely brilliant. Let's take that aside from the issues with the drop flags. The second one was after some contact again, but I still think the stewards will have a word. Is this off the start? You're on board. This was the view we had, look. Comes in hot. Okay, no, that's on board with Veloce. No, so Price has lost it on the brakes, Jenny. I wondered if there'd been contact from behind. Watch Price here. She's in the air. She comes over the bump. Watch for the compression as the car lands. There, she's into the side of Veloce. So, yeah, unfortunately, they're at fault there. So she's going to get 20 seconds for 2 down flags, and RJ Anderson has a mountain to climb here.
Oh, it looks like their championship might have just hit, and that's the Veloce hit as well. It's a funny old hit, that one. You can see she takes down the waypoint. So this is going to be really tough. 20 seconds to come back from. I mean, RJ has performed brilliant this weekend. He's new to the championship, deputising for Kyle Leduc. But wowzers, he has a big job out there if he's going to get through. 29-year-old from California. He needs the sun to shine on him. And look, all 3 going out at the same time. 3 abreast going out of switch. They're limited to 30 kilometres an hour. How's this going to shuffle out? Who's going to use their Inoa hyperdrive to get out of this situation? Oh, look. So Alatia just gave way there. He just knew he couldn't get round, so just released a little bit, and I think that was a sensible decision.
I hope he's not penalised for that, Jenny. They came in the lead. They're going out in P3. Who's going to use the Inoa hyperdrive immediately? Surely one of them will to try and get away. Yeah, Anderson, I thought so. So RJ Anderson engages the hyperdrive. Got to go inside on the run to the first corner. Kevin Hansen's no mark. He'll now have to play this. Kevin going to go wide. Watch for the cut back on the exit. You're on board with Anderson now. Kevin runs wide. Anderson going to get the whole shot. He's got to shut the door on Kevin into turn 2. Kevin is inside on the grass. They go sideways now. Anderson should just hold on, but side by side on the exit. Kevin Hansen looks like he might have edged him as they go through. Runs off to the left-hand side of the course.
Do you know what RJ was saying? He wanted a little bit of wheel-to-wheel action. He's got it out there because look, this is RJ Anderson going head-to-head with Hansen and the two of them.
His doors up.
Oh, his doors up. That is not a good place to be when you're battling so aggressively out there, but they know what they have to do. They have to finish 10 seconds ahead of Alatia as things stand. He's got to get a move on, but at the moment he's behind Veloce.
So remember, there should be extra penalties for the GMC Hummer. They're going to have to be, I think, 20 in front, Jenny, of P3 to get themselves in. Alatia may get a penalty for knocking down the exit of the switch zone. I think not, because they were 3 wide, as you said, but hyperdrive still available. Look to Kevin Hansen. RJ Anderson showing as it is, but we think he used it on the exit, though. His door is wide open. That's a hell of a distraction. It really is.
He's trying to get it closed. Whenever it's on the straight, he's reaching up to try and close it, but he can't get it closed enough for it to seal the door. That is hot. It's gone now. It's gone. That's one way of doing it. So
Forget about it.
Yeah, Veloce have now used their Inoa hyperdrive. As Alatia, we thought that it was Price that used it off the line, but maybe not.
Look at these shots here of RJ from the drone. That was fantastic. You could see him working away at the wheel. Oh, comes up over the bump. Looks to the inside line on Kevin Hansen. Goes deep on the brakes. Just misses the waypoint. Just misses the Veloce. Oh, they're trying everything, aren't they? It was a long shot for them anyway, and it's an incredibly long shot now, but they are never giving up, and I like to see that.
Alatia now 4 seconds behind this chasing pack, and what he needs to get, as you say, is they now use their Inoa hyperdrive for Anderson. What they need to do is extend that gap between them and Alatia. Their only hope of a championship is really that a problem befalls somebody else, because 20 seconds is a huge gap to try and eke out between them and 3rd place. And if they got to get through to win, that's what they've got to do.
Yeah, Alatia is only 4.9 back. There's a bit of me that says you just get on the radio to Alatia and say, stay out of this. These two are getting into it big time. There's a 20-second penalty coming the way of the car in P2. You're going through. Just chill out. You know, don't give the team any work to do.
Alatia is a sensible driver. He'll know, well, at times.
Except for yesterday.
he'll know that he just needs to keep his nose nose clean, and maybe that's why he backed out a little bit when he went through the switch zone, because to him, unless something weird happens, they will, as you say, be going through. And I wonder what Sarah Price is feeling right now. She must feel absolutely gutted.
So, I'm gutted for her, Jenny, because when she came in at the end of that session, she had 2 purple sectors, which was fastest of today. Obviously, we got some quick ones from yesterday. Her driving in this race was absolutely the best I've seen her drive. She was so aggressive. She closed down 2 of the fastest drivers, Anderson and Taylor. It took 10 seconds out of them. It was brilliant driving, but unfortunately, the mistake had happened already. So, you've got to take the positives from it. I hope she does. And they were a long shot anyway, but they will have believed they could do it.
Talking about a long shot, that's a brilliant shot. You can see the damage on that Chip Ganassi Racing car on the side of it. The Hummer EV going along nicely, but RJ really battling that car to try and find time anywhere he can out there. But I have to say, Kevin Hansen and Molly Taylor have made a brilliant pairing. Top qualifiers yesterday, and to me, favourites to win this weekend and win this X-Prix.
Well, it would certainly be a great result for Veloce, wouldn't it? Many changes at that team. They've gone for a full driver lineup change. Anderson is still piling the pressure onto Hansen, but Hansen coming now onto the finish straight as you ride on board with Anderson. That car is in bits, the door's missing, the side of it's broken, and unfortunately broken as well is their championship challenge. Veloce come up over the crest. Hansen, having taken over from Taylor, going to come down to the finish line now, and Veloce as top qualifiers are going to go through to the final. Great result for them. Is that championship hope over? I think so. 20-second time penalty for Chip Ganassi Racing should drop them down, and it does. Look at your timing screens, bottom left there. Anderson and Alatia will go through for Abt Cupra, and the championship hopes for this season are over for GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing.
Well, that was a frantic race, wasn't it? And it was always a very slim chance that Chip Ganassi would be able to battle. They were 4th in the standings on 55 points, so it would have taken an awful lot for them to turn around their advantage. But coming into this, you just thought maybe they didn't even get the chance to get into the final, which is such a shame.
I feel for them. I really do. Thumbs up from Alatia. Yeah, he's pleased. Look, he knew, Jenny. For me, Clara looked a bit disappointed, didn't she? I guess she's coming in the lead and is a bit disappointed that they've come in P3, but it doesn't matter because they go through. And of course, remember, grid play will have an effect on their grid positions. Anyway, I think they were doing quite well in that yesterday. You've just got to be in the final. Disappointment.
He drove the door off that car.
He did.
And I think a brilliant debut weekend for RJ Anderson, and deputising with Carla Duke, but I'm pretty sure he'll find a home somewhere in Extreme E.
Vodafone Business Command Centre busy as usual.
Oh, the St Helena looks absolutely beautiful tonight. And look at these, the semi-final 1 results. Price and Anderson with that penalty, plus 20 seconds, so they were really way back in 3rd place in the end. 2nd place for the Abt Cupra team, and 1st for Taylor and Hansen and Veloce, which means Abt Cupra and Veloce go through.
Well, there is RJ Anderson climbing out of the Hummer EV. We're going to have a chat with Sarah Price, who took that car for the first stint. Sarah, where are you? So, are you there, Sarah? Can you hear us?
Hey, guys.
Sarah,
I am there. I hear you guys.
Mate, I feel for you. You tried so hard at the start. Looked like the bump caught you out on the brakes in turn 1. But my goodness me, that was a hell of a drive from you to come back from 10 seconds down. How are you feeling? Because I know you'd be disappointed, but there are positives there as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think our pace is on point. That on that start, Veloce just got kicked into me and then put me going off, and we knew that was going to be a possibility on that start. That's a pretty big kicker. Hopefully it didn't happen, and it did, and so they just kind of pushed me into that flag. So, hopefully that penalty is non-existent because it wasn't my fault. But the second one, we're just downhole some racing, just trying to do whatever we can. This means the world to us to get to the final. So. Drove my heart out, gave it all on the track. So hopefully it aligns.
Oh, so there's still some hope there for you, Sarah.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think anything happens in Extreme E. As you guys know, I know Abt had hit that sign, so we're going to see what kind of the officials say and what it comes down to.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. Let's go down to Laura Winter, our pit lane reporter. She's down with RJ.
Oh, thanks very much, guys. We've just heard from Sarah there. Understandably, she'll be disappointed. What a crazy race for Sarah, obviously, with such pace to cut back. For you, having to wrestle, manhandle, and eventually seeing your door fly off the car. What was that like for you?
What a welcome to Extreme E, huh? That was my first real door-to-door racing, and I was thrown right into the thick of it. Hats off to Sarah. She did an awesome job as a teammate. Bummer what happened there on the start, but that's racing. I don't think it was her fault whatsoever. So she was going for it, going for that position, and she had one heck of a drive coming back from that. So she gave me the car in a great position. I knew I had to battle. We had a good switch. Then I was battling with Kevin, I believe Kevin Hansen. So sorry, I'm new here. Awesome battle. I actually had him there for a little bit, and my door kept opening up, and I didn't know about the rules here, so I kept reaching up to shut it. Made a mistake. He got back by me. Then we had a fun battle. I lost a little pace on him, got a little back there at the end. I gave it my all. I came here to Extreme E. My Chip Ganassi Racing gave me one heck of a car. I know we have a penalty in there, so obviously finished second, but we'll see how it shakes out.
Well, yeah, sorry to see it wasn't quite the smooth race you hoped for, but well done to you, and what a debut weekend as well. Thanks so much.
Well, there we go. Drivers giving it all out on track. Have to see what happens with the stewards, whether or not they agree about the contact. You know, there's still the second down flag, so tough for them. That's not only on the track, of course, that the drivers are giving it all. All the teams in Extreme E are dedicated to the championship's ethos when it comes to sustainability and the fight against climate change. While in Uruguay, RXR took part in a beach clean to raise awareness for the plastic pollution that affects the world's oceans. But it wasn't the only legacy project that Extreme E were involved with this week.
Before the racing began at the Natural Energy X Prix, some of the drivers took time out to visit a sea lion colony off the coast of Punta Del Este with marine conservation organisation OCC.
So we're here today to take our drivers to go snorkeling with the sea lions. We've got the second largest sea lion reserve in the world here in Punta Del Este, and what we want to do is get them up close and personal with these amazing species that call these waters home. With any Extreme E race week, before the drivers get in their cars, before they see the race course, we take them out into the communities, we take them into the legacy projects that we've chosen. And here we're working with the OCC, who have been working in marine biodiversity and conservation for over 25 years.
We are going to the Sea Lions Island, that is 5 miles in open ocean. There are sharks like everywhere, but we have no reports of biting or problems with human beings. Never.
Are they colorblind?
The partnership with Extreme E, it was a very interesting surprise, but we realized that we are aiming the same goal, thinking about a positive impact as a species. It's something that we have in common.
Thank you.
Better to get in the water and
Yeah, that's the kind of experience that you never forget, you know, being so close to the natural environment, and that's the spirit, you know. We have these drivers understanding, coming to our world and bringing our world to their world, the conservation coming together with the motorsports, and it's the perfect situation.
It was amazing. That's my first time being up close to a wild sea lion before. They are absolutely massive. When you're in the water, it's quite intimidating at first, but actually they're just so curious. So in the end, you can kind of relax with them. It's quite a special moment.
Over 5,000 kids from this area have taken the same experience we just did, and it's a real forward thing that they're doing here at Punta Del Este, where they take classes out there and experience that particular island and all the wildlife that's there. Now they know there's a lot of other things under the water.
Well, sea lions aside, that was just beautiful, but I have to say we're going to recap the best bits of semi-final one, and Molly Taylor was the person who took Veloce out in front.
Yeah, I was keen to see that turn one incident. She was a bit sideways. I mean, Taylor said that Price said that Taylor had hit her. When really, this is the onboard with. To be fair, she is sideways. Yeah, there isn't a lot of room for Price. That one might get turned around, Jenny. The problem is the one later in the race. So there's contact again. Now that's the first corner again. Okay, so you could see. It depends if they give Veloce enough of a penalty to drop them behind.
Very much the stewards debating this one, I think, and I think it was Veloce versus Hummer into the second waypoint. Look, this is another incident that led to, then you can see she flicks back on the inside and just clatters. I'm not sure she'll be able to get that one away.
No, neither am I. That's the one that I think so. I think they'll get 10 for that anyway, so it depends if they think the Veloce thing at the start, Jenny, is a racing incident, because don't forget we've seen Price's on board and we know Price was all crossed up as well.
The other thing to remember is that the switch zone exit, no accident after the investigation for switch zone exit where Alatia went into the boarding. This is the moment where it happened. They were three abreast coming out, and then they turned to the left. Alatia realised this is silly and just gave way but clunked aboard, but that's not penalised. So this is the two as they really tried their heart. This is when the door is still on for RJ. We've got pre-door, post-door. You can see it's still open there and just a little bit ajar. He's trying all the time, you heard him say in the interview, to close it, and what great door-to-door action. I mean, welcome to Extreme E.
Door to one door. Although at this point he still had the door, didn't he? Do you remember Ekstrom did this before as well? Hello, Matthias, if you're watching. He lost the door off the car last year, didn't he?
Look, drop a bit of weight, it's fine. Get rid of that door. Off it goes.
It's unnecessary, isn't it? It's just extra weight. They've got the window net to hold them in the car. What are you worried about? But yeah, I mean, they both the drivers for Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing tried really hard. I think RJ's done a great job of standing for Kyle Leduc, and I'm disappointed with Sarah. Sarah clearly still believes there's a bit of hope. That was RJ avoiding the flag. He did well there because he was backing it in, and the rotation was just a bit too much, and he pulled it out. But we'll see. We will keep you posted on if there are any developments. But as it stands at the minute, the championship hopes are over.
What a drive though, and Veloce, what a weekend for them so far. They've only picked up 8 points in the championship, but this weekend a new lineup for them and they look mighty impressive. A thumbs up there from Kevin Hansen. RJ said, yeah, I'm just getting used to that. Well, you have to get used to the Hansen brothers. They're very impressive out there, aren't they?
Semi-final 2 is fast approaching, and I've headed down to this end of the paddock to see Emma Gilmore from Neon McLaren. A really intense race in Quali 2 for you guys yesterday. How do you reflect on it now, and how excited are you to have made this semi-final on a day in which pretty much anything happened?
Yeah, I mean, that is Extreme E, isn't it? You never know how things are going to play out. So unfortunately, we had the eventful qualifying too. And yeah, Tanner, I mean, gosh, it was just so dusty out there. So yeah, we got a bit of damage when Tanner's laps, and so it was just a case of getting to the finish when I jumped in. So yeah, happy to be through to the semi-finals. It sort of makes it an easier path to the finals if there's such a thing. But I mean, gosh, no path is easy.
No path is easy here in Extreme E and on this course, which we know now really does have a bit of a bite, doesn't it? Now listen, first over the line in Chile, and it was a brilliant race from you. Penalties, dropped waypoints meant you were demoted in that final. That must give you some appetite for today, knowing you've got the pace and you can get it done.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it was a great weekend in Chile, and Tanner and I, the whole team, are just finding our stride. So it's been great. So really looking forward to today. Yeah, anything can happen, but we're feeling confident.
And based on what we saw yesterday with the side-by-side racing, and as you say, an eventful race for you guys, the first one seemed pretty straightforward, but certainly a lot of contact in your race. What are you expecting today? What have you learnt from yesterday to bring into today to make sure you're in those top 2 spots for the final?
I think it's going to be interesting. We're lucky enough we'll get to see semi-final 1 go out and just see how wet the track is, if with watering and stuff, so how slippery it is. So that'll give us a bit of an idea. But yeah, I mean, who knows? As Tanner says, you have a plan until you get the first punch, something along those lines. So yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? Yeah, you have a plan until you get that first, second corner. So just, yeah, keep it pinned.
Oh, I love it. Good luck. Thank you very much, Emma. We'll see what happens. Thank you. We're now going to head over to Acciona Sainz, who had an absolutely brilliant day yesterday, and I'm joined by Carlos Sainz himself. Carlos, a fantastic day for you guys yesterday. How do you reflect on that now and the pace that you guys have here on this course?
Well, it has been a good day yesterday. Obviously, the most important thing now is coming with the semi and hopefully with the final. But we must be happy with what's happened yesterday with the two qualifying. And again, now let's see what's happened today, which is an important day.
It's put you in a brilliant position for today, and of course you're in the mix of this title fight as well. RXR, X44, both in the crazy race, so one won't make it through. Your chances are looking good, aren't they? How excited are you to get stuck in?
We still need a kind of a very lucky situation, but the most important thing is the evolution of ourselves, of the team. This year hasn't been really very lucky, a couple of races, but at the end we are showing good speed, good progress, and this is what makes me happy.
Good pace, and we're going to see some great racing out there. Thanks very much, Carlos. Best of luck to you. Well, here we go. Anticipation is building ahead of semi-final 2 here. Oh, the wind's picking up as well on finals day here at Extreme E.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Energy X Prix. Semi-final 2 is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Well, we are prepared to race. You can feel the tension in the Vodafone Business Command Centre as our drivers and team members look on. Some of them a little guarded with their strategy, the tips, what they want to achieve out there. You can just see Timmy Hansen putting on his baseball cap. Very relaxed, actually, bearing in mind the other drivers have their helmets on already.
I think the thing to remember here, Jenny, is again, there's one team that has one job they absolutely have to do. It's these. Acciona Sainz, Laya Sanz in the car, Carlos Sainz to take over at the midway point. They must make the final if they want to keep their championship hopes alive, and they're up against it.
They certainly are, and they start in the middle. So I don't know how much that will affect them with this, but they could get squeezed. They're going to have to react very quickly, and Laya Sanz is going to have to be like a rocket. If she doesn't use the Anoa hyperdrive to give herself that extra 4 seconds boost off the line, I would be amazed.
Yeah, we weren't sure, were we, in that first one, who did and who didn't, and then coming out of the switch zone again, it was a little confusing, but know that it's there, and that, yeah, it may well be an option. Particularly having watched that first semi-final, I think you'd be thinking, I want to be clear.
Let's look at the lineup then for semi-final 2. You have the Neon McLaren team. Emma Gilmore takes the car first, then hands over to Tanner Faust. It's Laya Sanz in the middle for Acciona Sainz. She'll hand over to Carlos Sainz after her first 2 laps. And then, as you look at it to the right-hand side, Andretti United with Katie Munnings in the car first and Timmy Hansen taking over.
They're on that outside line. Not the worst place to be. You can make a little cut back there, Jenny, if you want to. There's Carlos Sainz getting the 1 minute single finger. He'll know he's ready. Pressure's on, but it's nothing Carlos hasn't faced before.
Yeah, there's some serious experience out here ready to race. Remember, the first 2 will go through. The third is out for the weekend. So, as we keep on saying, for the championship, essential that Acciona Sainz get through to the next round.
30 seconds.
So let's see what's going to happen. Semi-final 2 is ready to get going. 3 cars, 2 of them go through. Who will it be?
Acciona Sainz have to make the cut here. Laya Sanz will know the pressure's on big time. 15 You need a clean start. You can't have what happened last time. You can't be running wide in turn 1 and giving yourself a job to do. Emma Gilmore on the inside. Pole position for McLaren. Can she hold on to that down to turn 1? Munnings has been on brilliant form this weekend as well. Green light, amazing reaction time in the middle of the grid from Sanz, but looks like better traction on the inside. No, and Sanz is just going to pull ahead. So Gilmore now going to have to go big over this crest jump if she wants to hold on to that inside line. Gritted teeth from Sanz. Or around the outside line goes Katie Munnings. Just gets attacked from Sanz. Sanz with the understeer. Dirt flies up over the top of the screen. The rear quarter centre of the Genesis Andretti United has just been knocked off, but it's Katie Munnings who gets the whole shot. Emma Gilmore trying to do the wide, tight undercut on Laia Sands, and she is alongside. Gilmore trying to make the pass. She's got that outside line, pushes in tight. Sands backs off, doesn't want to hit the flag on the inside line. At the minute, Acciona Sainz are at the back of the pack.
Yeah, they know that they can't take any huge risks. They've got to get in front, and look, they're going for the move right now. You can see on board with our leaders, Andretti United. They've just about got ahead, but I think it's going to change round as well. Emma Gilmore will go for the inside. She's managed to make the pass. What can Laia Sands do about this? She can't have a collision here. She's got to keep it clean. She's rolled! She's rolled, and this is disaster for Acciona Sainz. Can she get going? She can! What an incredible recovery from that. Oh, they are not out of this yet, and Laia Sands, incredible.
Go on, Laia Sands. There's bits flying off that car as she continues in this race. She's 8 seconds down the road, having rolled it. This would be an incredible comeback. What a story. I thought it was over, and I think everyone thought it was over, but it's not. They're still hanging in there, Jenny. They're not that far behind.
Genesis Andretti United out in front by about 2.5 seconds over that Neon McLaren team, and then Acciona Sainz trying to close the gap down, currently at 8.2 seconds. Remember, 2 laps round, then they switch driver, another 2 laps round, and for Acciona Sainz, they must finish in the top 2 to stand any chance of this championship. Where is she? Where is Laia Sands after the roll recovery? There she is.
Still there, 7.4 seconds back. So Carlos Sainz is going to have some work to do. Look, the window's missing, the wings are missing from the side of the car. Katie Munnings leads Emma Gilmore by 2.4, and they drop a further half a second back in the background. Laia Sands needs to not overdrive. She's just got to keep it clean. She's got a whole nother lap to go, Jenny. So a whole nother lap with that car. Lost another half second now. They got more of a problem. They're losing time just bit by bit, but they're still there in the background. She's still going for it. Got to close this gap down.
Yeah, I just wonder, as you say, if they've got a little bit of damage there. I mean, you can understand it. That Odyssey 21 just went all the way over itself, and Laia Sands has not given up hope yet. She knows she needs to get this car back in one piece and then wait and see what Carlos Sainz will do. Look, there's little bits flapping off the Neon McLaren as well.
So it's going to be tricky for Sainz if he comes out behind Hansen and Faust. Hansen and Faust, we know, are both well capable of top pace. Now, Carlos is also, but as I say, Laia's got to keep that car as close in touch as she can, and they've got to hope there isn't too much wrong with it. She's only losing tenths here and there, so I would suggest there's nothing major right now, but it's still a bit of a gap, Jenny.
It is, and out in front, Katie Munnings is doing a great job of just getting this car back. She's really trying to push and get some aggression there. She's been on, as you say, great form all weekend, and another team that needed a little bit of luck to come to them.
Great form all season, I think, Jenny, for both of them, and it just hasn't gone their way. So this is a tidy drive out front at the minute. They've got a comfortable but gap over McLaren. That, you know, the dust will be helping them leading. That's what you want, just make it a bit tricky behind. You see here, even for Laia Sands a few seconds back, she's just got to try and close down. Getting close enough to the McLaren would give Carlos a shot at least at Tanner in the next half. There is Emma Gilmore, Tanner Faust teammate, the New Zealander, pushing hard.
It's interesting if you look at the championship standings as well between these two, because McLaren are just 1 point ahead of Andretti United in standings in their battle for 5th place. So actually there's a lot on the line for them when it comes to pride and when it comes to where they finish in this championship. Of course, they'll want to finish as high up as they can as Laia Sands battles Carlos Sainz. You can see him there, bespectacled, and he knows what the mission is. They're 9.4 down, just closing to 9 seconds. Come on, Laia.
So we're hearing as well that from semi-final 1, it's unlikely there will be any further action from that turn 1 incident, Jenny. So this means we could have lost 2 of our championship protagonists in these 2 semi-finals, and it would come down to the crazy race. Then only one can go through, and X44 would have to beat RXR to keep their championship hopes alive. So we thought it might all play out today. Look at the dust on board. Now you can see why Laia Sands is struggling to close that gap down. How far back as they come into the switch? They're just 4 seconds behind the Neon McLaren Extreme E. So Acciona Sainz with 4 seconds for Carlos Sainz to close down on Tanner Faust. 2 laps to come. Katie Munnings and Timmy Hansen with a 6.5 second lead.
So this is a replay of what happened. We're on board with car number 55. You can see we come around to the corner. You're going up towards that hedge. She just tries to get out of the way because she knows that she's in trouble there with the McLaren coming in, and then flips it over, a double barrel roll. And then luckily it falls back on its feet again and she gets going. Let's look from the outside.
So watching Gilmore, and you can see that she's coming in hot and sideways, trying to avoid the McLaren, but also trying to avoid the flag on the inside. So she's had to put the rotation in the car and allow it to run wide of the flag. And as you say, Jenny, goes over. So lucky they landed on the wheels. Look how quickly she was back on the throttle. Now in the background there, you heard Katie Munning shouting to Timmy Hansen saying, it's rutted out there. So that's another reason why sometimes the cars roll over if they dig in sideways on a rut, go over.
I don't think anyone's going to improve on that Continental Traction Challenge today, but look what a hero she is to get out. She's grimacing. She must have been a little pain to do a double barrel roll, but Carlos Sainz is going to go for this. He's got a job on his hands, but he will go out there and try and hunt down either of these two cars. First it will be Neil McLaren, then it will be the Genesis Andretti United. Let's go down for the lady of the moment, Laia Sanz. Hats off to you.
Laia, my goodness me, a double roll and then you kept the car going. Firstly, are you okay? And talk me through what happened.
Yeah, I was just trying to fight with Emma. It was not easy. I think I hit a bit the inside and I rolled. Luckily the car could continue, so hopefully, I don't know if Carlos will catch McLaren, but at least we will try.
And at least you're okay as well. Thank you very much. We'll let you get to Command Centre. Thanks, Laia.
Amazing performance from her to carry on. Carlos Sainz now needs an amazing performance himself. He's actually 6.4 back. So at the minute, the leader's gone up by some 2.4 seconds for Tanner Faust in Neil McLaren Extreme E. Him and Gilmore would make the cut if that's the case. And Sainz and Sanz, their championship hopes will be over. But anything can happen. And Faust uses his Innova Hyperdrive now to try and extend that gap a little bit further.
So Acciona Sainz know exactly what they have to do. They have to catch the McLaren car and overtake it to stand a chance of keeping their championship hopes alive. There's Timmy Hansen out in front by 7 seconds. He looks relaxed and calm using the handbrake, and that's the physical gap between McLaren and Acciona Sainz. As Carlos Sainz gets the charge on, that gap doesn't seem to be coming down though, not fast enough.
Oh, Faust just clips the rear left. That's those ruts we were looking at, Jenny. You saw the car bounce and almost go up on two wheels. Emma Gilmore, of course, rolled earlier on this weekend to say it's not over until they get to that final waypoint. It really isn't. Another whole lap to go. Oh, it just makes you nervous, doesn't it? For me, these guys, Timmy Hansen, Katie Munnings, Genesis Andretti United, I think they're the favourites this weekend. They were P1 and P2 in their 2 free practice sessions. They had a great run during qualifying. If you remember, they said they were holding back. They could have gone quicker and they were only 2 seconds off the win. So I think they're favourites for the win, but this is all about the championship fight right now.
Yeah, could well be Hansen and Hansen for the win, couldn't it? To see which one of the brothers comes out on top with their co-drivers, because they are in such good form. But what can Carlos Sainz do? He needs a Herculean effort if he's going to track this down. You can just see him. He is driving this car hard as he comes towards the finishing line for the first time. What's that going to stand at? It's just edging out a little bit more as Tanner Faust knows that he can get through to the final with this Neon McLaren team. This is going to be really tough now.
Yeah, it's a big ask, isn't it? I think now Carlos, unfortunately, is going to be relying on a problem for somebody else, Jenny. But we've already seen, as I say, Tanner up on 2 wheels. Tanner will know that from the previous lap, and he can afford to back off a little bit. Timmy Hansen can as well. They've just got to keep an eye on. This is where the team will be on the radio the whole time, saying to them, the gap is this, the gap is this, and just keeping them informed on what they've got to do. They've only got to make it sideways. He's trying everything. The WRC and Dakar legend is pushing as hard as he can to get the team with his name on it through.
Timmy Hansen looking to improve his time in the Continental Traction Challenge. 5 points up for grabs, and he's just deployed his Innova Hyperdrive. He's got space, he's got room. If they can put together a great performance, maybe it'll be enough to take those 5 points. But Acciona Sainz using their Innova Hyperdrive as well.
Hansen's got to do something special, hasn't he, to take those, and Munnings too, remember, it's both drivers together in the Continental Traction Challenge. Loeb did it yesterday, took 7/10 off the quickest time, which is insane, and his teammate Gutierrez had done it earlier in the weekend and then rolled immediately afterwards, so we know how hard she was trying, Jenny, and that's why, along with the track conditions, we think it will be pretty hard for them to beat that time.
He has improved his time, though, I think. Oh, it's close. It's very close. I'll let that one go down to the official timing loop, but my word, that was a great drive. Not faster than Loeb, though.
Both him and Katie would need to be faster than Gutierrez and Loeb, so I think it's a big ask. But as we say, this is all about this story. Carlos Sainz, he's saying they're 300 odd metres behind the Neon McLaren Extreme E. Got to close it down. There's literally a few turns to go, and I think now this is tricky.
Yeah, really tough one for Acciona Sainz. They were so desperate to keep their championship challenge alive, but it's not to be. Here are our race winners. It is the Genesis Andretti United team of Timmy Hansen and Katie Mannings coming through to take the win. In second place, Tanner Faust drove brilliantly. He brings it home for Neon McLaren. It was all set up by Emma Gilmore, and look at them. The car looks a mess. Their championship dreams are gone, but they put together a brilliant performance out there for Acciona Sainz. Laia Sanz double barrel rolling. She's just getting checked up by the medicals. Wow.
So game over then for Acciona Sainz. Two of our championship running teams are out. It's X44 versus RXR coming up in the crazy race. And if X44 can't beat RXR, RXR will win the title in that next encounter. Katie Mannings, thumbs up. Her and Timmy had it easy there, didn't they? As say, you suspect they might have backed off previously in the weekend as well. Are they the favourites for the big trophy this weekend? Results then of semi-final 2. Laia Sanz and Carlos Sainz are out of the championship running with that P3 after a roll for Sanz, but an epic effort by her to try and get back in the running. Faust and Gilmore go through for Neon McLaren Extreme E, but for Genesis Andretti United, Mannings and Hansen take the win in semi-final 2.
Well, there's Timmy Hansen. As you say, you think he's your favourite for the weekend. I think his brother Kevin Hansen might be favourite for the weekend.
We'll have a little bet on that, shall we, Gal?
Well, I'll tell you what.
A few quid on the end of season winner.
Both of them have got control. I'll just do who makes the next cup of tea.
Fair enough. It's cheaper.
Right, Katie Mannings is in the Vodafone Business Command Centre. Katie, what a brilliant performance out there. You made that look easy.
I don't know about that. I mean, that first corner was pretty sketchy. To be honest with you, me and Timmy have worked so hard. We've had a really kind of, not the year we wanted. We've had the pace and just haven't been able to convert it for various different reasons. So this race, we're literally first at track, last to leave. Everything that we could do to try and make a difference this weekend, we're doing. So a win here feels really special. And Timmy said to me before, I really want to take the start. He doesn't like not being in control. So now he finally gets to do that in the final.
You're all control freaks.
Yeah. So Katie, you know, there's still a job to do. We know that. There's 5 cars going through to that final. It seems to me the field is closer than ever. But you guys have done a brilliant job. I know you won't be counting your chickens, but still, it's a strong one. You must be feeling good going into that final.
Yeah, I mean, I think on pace we've been the fastest team here this weekend from practice. Q1 we took it easy because that was a different strategy, but we know that since those sessions, you know, we're right there. So I think that's all you can really do. Obviously, it's down to grid play a lot now, but I think as we saw in the semi-1 as well, anything can happen off the start, especially with 5 cars. So I'm quite happy I'll be standing here spectating that one, and I give all my faith to Timmy. I know that he always pulls it out the bag when it matters, and to be honest, just to make the final amongst this field, where there's so many talented drivers, means a lot to us. So yeah, we're pretty happy.
Yeah, I saw your family there getting celebratory hugs. It must be nice to have them and the fans there this weekend for the first time. Does that give you a boost?
Absolutely. I mean, just that energy that you really do feel it. I'm always a better driver, I think, when I've got my family and that support around me. I have been since I grew up. I know it's the same for Timmy. So it's really nice that we're able to have spectators here and spend some time with them in the fan zone as well to meet them.
Katie, now your semi-finals done. I wonder if you can give us a bit of a heads up on track conditions out there. We saw a couple of people up on 2 wheels. I heard you mention to Timmy it was rutted. We've potentially got the championship deciding race coming up. Where do we and the fans at home need to be watching out for on this course for problems like Sanz had?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general the grip's pretty good. You know, there was some water on track overnight, but that hasn't made a difference that much for us. I would say the rut's the thing, you know, where Laia rolled in 9, that was pretty rutty there. Also 20, I know they did some work on that overnight, but I think when a few cars go through there, that really digs back up. So in general, I think you just really got to watch the lateral load when you're sliding now and trying to keep it a bit straighter. But when you're going for fastest sectors, as I'm sure they are for those super sector points, it's really not easy.
Katie, so nice to speak to you. Good luck going into the race later on.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.
Smiley, happy people.
Excited,
we love that. Race winners for Andretti United doing a great job out there. Katie Mannings, Timmy Hansen.
Oof, pressure's off for them, isn't it? But
pressure's
not for everybody else.
For everybody in the crazy race, though. Look at that list of who's going to be in the crazy race. Only one place to go into the final. This is going to be tense.
Carlos Sainz is with Laura Winter. So Laura's going to have a chat with the Spaniard. Disappointment for them.
Just next to Maxiona Sainz now. Laia, we spoke to you in the switch, and good to see you back here and okay. Carlos, will come to you. A heroic effort to close that gap. The pace was there. Was the car difficult to drive in that instance after the damage?
Oh, it was. Obviously, we need to check, but nah. It was not easy. We saw it was very close. Unfortunately, we have a little bit of bad luck in this semi-final, and this is how it works. This championship, it works like that. So nothing to say.
And how proud are you of the team effort that you've had this weekend? You took it to the championship. You had pace yesterday, and all season you've been up there.
Yeah, you know, I think personally I'm very proud how Laia started 2 years ago and how she is today. She make huge effort, huge improvement. The team has been doing a good job, and I think, well, today we were not really very lucky, but I think, to be honest, we lost all our chances back in Cerdeña, and probably also the last race when we had the chance, but we also got hit. So at the end, it's a positive season because the speed has been there. The championship has grown a lot. The championship is everybody's very close, very fast, and more exciting races.
Well, it's not for lack of effort and pace. You guys have been up there. And Laia, we spoke to you in the switch. You've just been to medical. Are you doing all right? All okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. And luckily the car was more or less fine. It was a pity that I lose too much time and we couldn't fight until the end. But it's like it is. And I think it gives us even more motivation for next year for sure.
Oh, that's what we like to hear. Well, we're sorry that it ends here. But thank you. You should be proud of yourselves. Thanks so much.
Well, let's look at some of the best bits from semi-final one. This was the start. It all sort of kicked off there, didn't it?
Yeah, through the dip crest here, up on the nose. Wow, okay, so yeah, pushing really hard. We knew they'd have to. Laia Sanz had it stood on the nose. So now at this point, I think Emma Gilmore is alongside. This is coming back to turn one again. Look at the kick in the rear there for Sanz, trying to get down there. Munnings comes around the outside. Sanz avoids the flag on the inside, runs a little bit deep. Gilmore comes out really wide, which is a great move by Emma because she knows she's going to get the cut back on the exit of this next turn. And then I think they end up, there it is. This is the roll from later on. And
so unfortunate, really. Yeah. She just tried to find some space on the inside, got squeezed a little bit by Emma Gilmore, but then that rut just kicking the car over, double barrel, as we said, and then the awareness to just know which way you're even facing after that was incredible. You can see on board with her as she goes over. Oh, the grimace.
And then it's just the relax. Then it's like, yes, mega, back on the wheels, go again. And that's what I love, Jenny. Actually, that rear right, you know, the car held up really well in there. Continental tyres staying on the rim as well because it was a big hit on the rear right as it came over for the second time. I'm disappointed for them, but you know, that's the way it goes sometimes when you push it as hard as you can.
And they said they kind of felt like they'd lost the championship already, really. Their chance was there. That's the moment that it dug in for Tanner Faust. He was lucky to keep hold of that. A little bit of bodywork flying off. He was also pushing incredibly hard, knowing that Carlos Sainz was trying to track him down. It just wasn't to be today, and now we only have two fighting for the championship, and what a two they are.
Yeah, X44 versus RXR in this very next race. Only one can go through, so don't go anywhere. You know that the crazy race is going to be very crazy, and it's going to decide the title.
Well, we also race for a reason, and you can see the paddock. All of those little symbols mean different things, and if you look for the one with a little sunshine and a solar panel, on event we currently create enough solar energy to 100% service the power needs of TV cameras and equipment on course, and the power for the Vodafone Business Command Centre. Trying to achieve lots of different things with this series, as well as just great racing.
The drivers have to bring their own bowls with them, their own cutlery, they have to do their own washing up. Even if you're a 9-time World Rally champion, you've got to do it yourself.
Or eat light.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's cool. I do want to see Sebastian Loeb at the scene doing the washing up. Carlos Sainz, I'm kind of keen to see that behind the scenes action. We'll have to get on that at some point.
Yeah, ban on single-use plastic as well, saving 75,000 single-use water bottles from season one alone. Punta Del Este, the perfect backdrop for the perfect finale.
One race left to go in this session, the crazy race, and this one is going to decide the title because Acciona Science and GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing are gone. In this one though, RXR and X44 Vita Carbon, yeah, one of them can go through, one of them can continue that run in the title race.
Well, the crazy race is fast approaching, and don't forget, winner takes all. Now, if RXR win this one, they will win the championship. It's an uphill battle, though, for them, and indeed it's an uphill battle as well for X44. It's been such a difficult weekend for you guys, and the news overnight is you have a 5-second penalty to be played out in the crazy race. What's your emotion, feeling this morning ahead of this one?
Yeah, for sure. It was not easy to approach the weekend being in the crazy race for today, but with 5 seconds it's even worse. So I think our situation is not really great, but okay, we wanted to do an appeal, but at the end it will destroy all the races. So we don't care. We go for it and we will try.
Yeah, that's all you can do, right? Is try it. It's an uphill battle, but it's not impossible, is it, Christina? There is still some hope. What's your approach?
Yes, for sure, it's not impossible. We try to do our best. We try to be very fast because we need to try to reduce the penalization. Still, we don't understand why the penalization in crazy race, because we had the accident in quali 1 and they don't do nothing in quali 2 and they put the penalization for crazy race. For sure, things similar like this happened in the past and nothing's happened, so still we don't understand what happened in this race, but as we said, we are going to push like always and try to win.
Use it as motivation, as a bit of pace out there. Thanks so much. Good luck today to you guys. Well, as I say, a difficult weekend for X44 and a difficult weekend so far for RXR as well, both rolling in quali 1 and disasters in quali 2 simply mean that they are both in the crazy race. As I say though, a win in the crazy race for these guys who came in with a 17-point advantage over X44 means you are champions. So Johan, your job is very simple, isn't it, this morning?
No, it's not. Yeah, the math are simple, but the job itself is not so easy.
Well, talk me through the approach then. Talk me through the mindset. We saw some pretty chaotic side-by-side racing on what was a simply intense, crazy day yesterday. How are you approaching this one? Will you change anything based on what happened yesterday?
No, not really. I think, yeah, as you say, we just have to try to do our best and yeah, basically just win the crazy race. And yeah, there was some side-by-side action yesterday, and I think there will be some today. There was also some front to rear, so yeah, maybe some more of that today.
Maybe. You mentioned the front to rear. Impact on the car, how is it?
It's fine. We've gone through a lot of plastic this weekend,
3 minutes,
but
everyone.
yeah,
3
we've been
minutes.
fortunate on many of the other races, so yeah, the car is all fine.
Thank you very much, Johan. We can't wait for this one. Good luck for the crazy race. It is coming up very soon.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Energy X Prix. The crazy race is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Well, tension is rising. Fraser McConnell there for JBXE, new in this weekend with the thumbs up. In the Vodafone Business Command Centre, all of the men standing there waiting and watching their partners in crime, and you can just see RXR taking a deep breath. This is time.
It's a notable difference, isn't there, in the atmosphere there? Ezekiel Compact blows us a kiss, Fraser McConnell gives us a thumbs up. They just want to make it to the final. There is much more at stake for RXR and X44. Remember that X44 must win this. They must beat RXR, go to the final. They then have a job to do in the final as well. They would need a good result depending on where RXR would finish in this and those 5 Continental Traction Challenge points. So RXR can still win it if they don't make it, but if they win this, game over. They're the champions.
Tense times, but a little smile from Arlen Kotlinski. She knows what she has to do.
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute then until we get this underway.
Wow, some lineup. JBXE, Excite Energy Racing, X44 and RXR. X44 and RXR are in the middle of the grid, so they're going to have cars inside and outside them. That's down in the command centre, that's actually in race control. They'll be looking to see that everything is super clean for this one.
30 seconds.
So 30 seconds until we get this going. It is the crazy race. Remember, only one can go through. The championship could be won here. X44, they currently have the Continental Traction Challenge fastest lap, an extra 5 points, but they have a 5-second penalty to serve when they go to the switch zone. Molinaro, Arlen Kotlinski, Gutierrez and Rosas. It's game on in Extreme E. We are green, we are racing in Uruguay in the Natural Energy X Prix, and look at those two title rivals going together all the way. It's RXR versus X44 out in front. Who's going to get to the turn first? They take the bounce aggressively. The car flips forward. RXR have got a bad landing. X44 take the lead away from them. They're going to come back though. Arlen Kotlinski looking for a way round. She can't find it at the moment, and it's X44 that take the lead. They take the turn, and it's almost three abreast. There's contact. RXR turn round. More complex as JBXE then smash into them. Wowzers, this is a donkey derby of a race.
That was carnage, wasn't it, for RXR? They've got contact again. This is not what they need. Arlen Kotlinski runs deep into the side ahead of Rosas. Rosas is off the side of the road, and RXR have dropped back as well. So Molinaro into P2 now. Rosberg X Racing are just where they didn't want to be. They're a long way back. Oh, is that damage on the car? The front right doesn't look like it's facing the right direction to me. They've had 2 bits of contact in that first couple of corners. X44 out front and leading. Could they steal the championship at this final round? You're on board with Arlen Kotlinski now. She's busy on the handbrake, Jenny. It looks like a nightmare.
Yep, she's
slowing.
They are slowing at the moment. The steering's gone. You can see those front wheels just pointing towards each other, but their championship hope isn't over yet. However, X44, they know what they've got to do. Keep out in front, serve that 5-second time penalty. Don't let anybody beat them, because if they don't win this, they're out. And look at what they're having to do in that car. Arlen Kotlinski is driving the wheels literally off it, but she's gonna have to park it, you feel. This is such sad times.
It's I mean, look at X44, there's an element there of chill. You know, you don't want to see something bad happen to your rivals, but there was too much contact for RXR in those first few corners, Jenny. They're out front
I don't think they're chilled, Andrew. I think they're still stressed.
Oh,
You've got Molinaro right behind them. They have to win this and serve a time penalty. Yes, okay, if RXR aren't in this, it helps them, but...
Loeb versus Compank. I hate to say it, but Loeb's 9-time World Rally Champion. Compank is just learning the off-road scene, so if any car, they could have chosen any car to be right behind them, it would be this one, as Molinaro uses her Renault hyperdrive to try and close that gap down. So the title won't be over here, it's going to go to the final. RXR can still win it. X44 need good results, but at the minute they've already got those 5 points, don't forget, for the Continental Traction Challenge. We've seen a yellow flag at waypoint 5. That's Rosas then, is it? Rosas hasn't come out of sector 2, so they're out as well. It's a 2-car race, Jenny. This has fallen right into the hands of X44.
So worth bearing in mind, yellow flag means that they'll have a slow zone they have to enter when they do another lap around. They'll have to slow down just as they come past, and that can give an opportunity sometimes for a little bit of a sneaky overtake. But let's have a look. So slams on the brakes, goes to the slow zone. They'll have to stay to the limit. I think it's 30 kilometers an hour, which looks painfully slow, but that's the stricken JBXE car out there, which means Fraser McCollum once again won't get a go out there, which is such a shame for the Jamaican new this weekend and doing a brilliant job. But look, these two out there, and at the moment, brilliant job from the X44 team. And look, there's Rosas stranded in the car. Game over.
Disappointment for them, but I think there'll be, I say, we said this earlier this weekend, that there's a lot of, now we know the championship's going to the final, we can talk about some other things. There's a lot of drivers looking for drives next year, and I think Rosas and McConnell have done a good job this weekend. We also saw that pass from Clara Anderson, so there's lots of people who'll be looking just to get signed up, and not a bad advert. I'm gutted for them that they're out, but only one of these cars was going to go through. Up on 2 wheels for Molinaro. Don't forget, I mean, that could happen to Gutierrez. And Loeb, Companct's not going to make it easy for Loeb, but I think Loeb will just be able to just chill a little bit more than Compact can to get the lap time done. They know what they've got to do, Jenny. They've just got to get to the finish now. They've got those extra 5 points in the bag, I think. I can't see anybody beating them. They've still going to have a job to do in the final. It's not over yet.
Track conditions out there don't seem quite as good as yesterday. It doesn't seem like people are improving their time. So at the moment, X44 have those extra 5 points. That could make all the difference when it comes to this final of what X44 can do to try and challenge RXR for this championship. I tell you what, Nico Rosberg, saw he was watching yesterday. Lewis Hamilton, I know he'll be across all of this. They will be watching on thinking, oh, it's about to get real. 2016 all over again.
One wheel lifted up for Gutierrez there, coming through the right-hander. Nothing too dramatic, but still 2 laps to go for them. The guys are going to take over in a minute. Good job by Gutierrez coming in. The lead is 4.3 seconds at that last waypoint. Let's see, 5.5 now as they come into the switch zone.
So she was looking to build that 5-second cushion so that when they release, well, they'll have to hold for an extra 5 seconds in that switch zone that they can get back out in front. Look, RXR still going round. Arlen Kotlinski battling that car to try and get it in. I wonder if there's anything they can do to just reboot Jenny, when they come into the switch zone.
Well, okay, they could change the steering arm, but it's not about that. This is about continuing in case the others retire. Absolutely. So they'll carry on. They may fix the steering and continue. I think that's unlikely. This is the first bit of contact. Look, Arlen Kotlinski ran deep on the brakes into the side of Hedda Hozas for me. And then later on, so coming out of turn 2 now, you'll see a little bit more. Did they get alongside? Watch this into the left-hander. So that's the X44. Gutierrez went deep on the brakes. Then they get a little bit of contact. Then they get a hit from Hozas back again. But it's not clear whether front, left or right went first of all. When does the steering go? There's another hit. So to be fair to Arlen Kotlinski, it's hard to know whether the damage came from turn 1 or from turn 2 or 3.
You kind of need to see the drone shot to be able to work out where people were and how they found out and how they rolled. Right, the Excite Energy Racing team are going. They get out at exactly the same time as X44. Be careful out there. Don't take any risks. Last thing you need at X44 is a puncture.
This is not what Loeb needs. He needs Compact to get out of him. This is pointless. This is pointless. It's the championship leaders. Compact could get a penalty for that, Jenny, 100%. I'm sorry, but you can't drive into the rear of a car in the switch zone. And again, contact the whole way down here. If they damage the car, this could affect the championship. This is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy race for a reason, but it shouldn't be that crazy. So Loeb just needs to get out of the way of Compact and run his own race. But Compact wants this. He wants to come in and prove what he can do. And I think it would be, the problem is Loeb's got to win this. He's got to win this for a chance to get through the championship.
Jenny.
So he's got to keep it clean, but he's got to try and get past as well. Use your brains, gentlemen. Please don't let it go to your head.
He's really thought about that, Loeb. He left the door wide open because he knew that Compact was going to come in hot. Now Loeb locks his brakes on the way into here. Compact does as well because they've gone into the slow zone. Did he come in there too quick? I hope not. I don't want this to go down to the stewards.
Switch zone is being investigated between cars number 44 and 42. That's these 2 cars out here. For me, can't see that Loeb, who needs to go out there and win this race, did anything wrong at all, but it's the stewards' decision. They have more information than we do. So, Loeb, where he needs to be at this moment in time, trying to gain time and gain space between him and that car following the Excite Energy Racing Team car.
At the minute, he's got a gap of 1.1 seconds, Jenny. All he needed to do, I think, was to avoid the contact there with Compact. He saw Compact coming in turn 2. He left the door open. He knew Compact would run a bit wide. They're looking at the steering arm, so are they going to put Johan in the car? They might as well, because if you think about the rubbing on the way out, Jenny, imagine if both these cars failed. At that point, RXR can crawl round the course, complete the run and go through. Yeah, so they are going to, look, they're having a crack at it. They can have a crack at it.
They know that JBXE are out of this. Remember, they're limited to how many they can take into that zone. So while RXR try to go for the fix, X44, Vida Carbon Racing with Sebastian Loeb at the wheel, giving himself every chance of still trying to compete for this championship. They have the Continental Traction Challenge fastest time under their belts at the moment. That's an extra 5 points. That could prove crucial for this championship.
Fair play to Compact. He's going with Loeb pretty well here for a guy who's got no experience compared to a guy who's got 9 World Rally Championships. And we've said this a few times this season, if you're not sure on what you're doing, you follow one of the quick drivers and get a bit of a heads up. Certainly gave Loeb a hard time coming out of the switch zone. 1 lap to go for X44. As long as they finish in this position, they go go through to the final, then it's about can they close down that points gap with a good enough result in the final, plus the 5 bonus points for the Continental Traction Challenge, assuming they hold on to those. We think they will. So they've kept their hopes alive. They're the only one of the 4 teams going to make it through to the final. Jenny, at one point this morning, I thought we might see all 4 protagonists go through when we looked at the lineups, and it's gone completely the other way. This has been, I think, the wildest weekend ever in Extreme E.
Oh, it's certainly got everybody talking about this championship, hasn't it? So many twists and turns, and now it feels like they're slowing. Oh, they were going through the slow zone, maybe.
Headsets falling off on the ground. That's the steering arm you're looking at on the floor there. The one's broken with the ball joint missing from it. They'll replace that, and that will give Christopherson full steering back. But in the meantime, last lap, a hyperdrive for Compact as he tries to close down the gap to Loeb. There is Christopherson. He knows that if X44 cross the line, he won't go out. He'll only go out if X44 don't cross the line.
So you can see Loeb full concentration here. I wonder if it's just going to have a little go to try and improve his time for the Continental Traction Challenge. He's in that zone at the moment. He certainly seems like he's pushing. The time that he set yesterday was a 40.786 in Sector 2, where he is right now.
What was the time for Arlen Kotlinski? Have you got that as well?
Yesterday, Arlen Kotlinski set a time of 42.778.
So 2 checks, you can't improve on that.
It's looking like it's running slow out there in Sector 2 as well. Just doesn't seem to be as fast as yesterday. But look, here is Loeb out there in front. They still have that traction challenge. You can see the order there. In number 2 place is the Genesis Andretti United team, highlighting what a strong weekend both of their driver pairings are having.
So I think this is definitely what RXR are doing, which might mean we're going to have to wait a few minutes here to finish this race at least. Christopherson, I think, will have a crack on it in his first lap. Is he heading out or not? Okay, Sebastian Loeb for X44 coming down towards the line. Got a few flags to go. They're getting across it. They've done the job they needed to do to keep their championship hopes alive. They're the only team that's done it. Fist pump. He knows they've got that done. Gutierrez and Loeb are through to the final. Now it's about whether or not RXR are going to send that car out. Can they nick the 5 championship points off with an incredible run from Christopherson through that Continental Traction Challenge, or will they pull out at this point? We need to see whether or not RXR are going to send that car out, Jenny.
Stephanie Travers, the engineer in the background that just came up to give Christine Gutierrez a hard look. The car sits empty there down at RXR. It looks like it's game over for them in this race. You can just see how frustrated they are, still there waiting. I think Laura Winter is there in the background. She's going to launch him with an interview. What does this do for the championship challenge?
We need to look at points. So it depends on these 5 championship points, which is why we think they might send the car out there. Are they sending Johan out? It looks like they are. So if they send Christopherson out, bear in mind, Jenny, Arlen Kotlinski can't improve her time. Yeah, they're not making the final. This is the end of the weekend for them. Christopherson's got 1 attempt, because he'll have to use the Yanoa hyperdrive in that sector to try and take enough time to steal those 5 points back from X44, if that's what they decide to do. And he is getting into the car. The 4-time World Rallycross champion is going to go for 1 final send and see if he can steal those points.
Right, let's go down to the Vodafone Business Command Centre. Christina Gutierrez is standing by, and I have to say, Christina, you did a cracking job out there. Well done.
Thank you so much. It was a very tough moment for us, because also with the penalization and everything, it started to be worse and worse the weekend, and I think we deserve it finally. And thanks for all the team, the hard work that they made with the championship car, and thanks for everything.
How nervous were you watching Sebastian go out when there was contact between him and Ezekiel Compact the whole way out of the switch zone? I bet you were freaking out, weren't you?
Yeah, of course, during all the lap of Seb, it was like very nervous, because I saw him very close to the other car, and finally it's also a battle against them, and everything is going to be like this. We knew that the crazy race, this especially crazy race, it was a very, very crazy race.
Well, thank you, Christina. Look, we wish you the best of luck in the final, all right? Well done, well done.
Thank you so much.
Let's go down to Laura Winter.
Oh, Michaela, it's a painful wait Michaela, it's a painful wait, isn't it, watching this car getting repaired. Johan, about to go out, just talk me through what happened there and how difficult it was to get this car back.
I mean, I did a clean start, a little bit of touch with Christina, but wanted to keep it fair racing, and then it was tight in waypoint 4, and yeah, they'll have to look into it why that happened, what happened. But I feel, yeah, I mean, it's really a shame. Would have been nice to get all 4 cars through the heat, but it's not the case. And have to look into it, and now let's see if Johan can get the car out.
You're working very hard behind us to get this car out. Is that for the Continental Traction Challenge, to get those more points?
Yes.
Simply yes. The championship hopes then very much still there. It's still in the mix, isn't it?
It is, but I mean, this is not what we hoped for, and yeah, I think it's a shame. It was a good start, and then yeah, it's a shame. The goal is to get the cars to finish, but it's not always the case.
Can you sum up the emotions you feel right now? You came into this weekend with such high hopes and feeling positive and confident, and it's not gone your way at all, has it?
Definitely hasn't, but that's the thing with this sport. Anything can happen. I feel though that we got everything on one weekend, not the weekend we hoped for, but let's see what Johan can do now. Show us what the car can do.
We'll see. I'm sorry to see it, Michaela. Thank you very much.
So you can see the disappointment there, but RXR going out. We're just trying to work out the math of quite how much he needs to improve by. However, car number 6, disqualification for a switch zone infringement, has just come on our boards. They had more mechanics in the zone than potentially they were allowed to do that fix. So car 6 is disqualified as things stand. This is disaster for their championship talents potentially. They can't go for the Continental Traction Challenge.
I was kind of looking forward to seeing Kristoffersson go for it. But yes, too many people in the switch zone apparently, and they walk back now. They'll be super despondent, Jenny. They put everything into trying to get that car ready. I thought we were going to see Kristoffer. We knew that was a long shot. He would have had to take every risk in the book to try and take back enough time, because Arlen Kotlinski wasn't going to get another opportunity to try and decrease her time. But as it goes, they return to the paddock, and yeah, it's game over.
So the championship challenge, though, is still there and still alive by my reckoning, and I've done some fairly primitive math. They need to make sure that they finish in the top 3 for X44. X44 have to finish in the top 3 if they're going to win this, and the Continental Traction Challenge, they have to keep that.
Well, what a session. What a session. We weren't sure who would go through. We knew that only one of X44 or RXR would make the cut, but we weren't expecting it to be, we've lost Acciona Science, we've lost Chip Ganassi Racing. This was the contact the whole way out to the switch zone, which is under investigation. We've already had RXR DQ'd from the switch zone due to too many people working on that car. So the 5 points for the Continental Traction Challenge lie with X44, Loeb and Gutierrez. We don't think that will be beaten because of track conditions and the way things will be in the final with 5 cars. So they should get that 5 points. Jenny thinks the gap's 14, and we think X4. That's our simple maths. We'll take the blame together if it goes wrong. We're renowned for terrible maths. And so we think that X44 will have to finish in the top 3. Look at this. This was where it all went wrong. Multiple contacts for RXR on that first lap with JVXE. Up the inside again here, look, and another contact. And Arlen Kotlinski went deep on the brakes there, Jenny. So I think it's 50-50 in terms of where those contacts came from, and it was broken steering. So you got to look at what Loeb did on the second lap against Compact, where he deliberately avoided the contact. He knew it might be coming, so he avoided it and kept the car in one piece. And unfortunately, the same wasn't said for RXR.
Yeah, they can still win. They can still win, and if X44 don't finish in the top 3, that is indeed what could happen. Or if the Continental Traction Challenge goes a separate way, that could change things as well. But look at this, RXR with that damaged car couldn't get it back, while X44 out in front could, and they drove brilliantly out there, Gutierrez and Loeb.
So we think the gap might be different, because we're just hearing from race control that as they're DQ'd from the crazy race, they'll get 0 points instead of 2. So that might mean that X44 can finish even further down in the final. You have to join us later on today. Let all these investigations continue, but I think it's going to be pretty clear. X44 are going to have a job to do in this final. They're going to have to get, what you think, P4, Jenny? We're looking at it, we think maybe only P4, but if you look at how mad this weekend has been, anything can still happen.
So let's take a look who will be in the final then. It'll be Abt Cupra versus Genesis Andretti United versus X44 versus Veloce versus the Neon McLaren team, and that is going to be one heck of a start. Look, all the guys are taking it first, then our ladies will take the steering wheel, and we will find out who will be the champion here at Extreme E this season.
What a wild weekend. I can't even... The final will probably be really, really simple and calm later on today, he says. I mean, it won't, will it? We've had rolls, we've had crashes, we've had some amazing passes from drivers who've only just joined this series. The tension has been building all year long to this final weekend. 3 of the championship contenders have not made the final. RXR can still win it if X44 don't get the job right. So later on this afternoon, Loeb and Gutierrez, can they take the title? Join us and find out.